Yo, what's going on, everybody? That's right. This your boy Play Beat chilling. I got my man Rev with me. This is officially our first episode of season 3, man. It's been a cool little while. How's everybody doing out there?
Do you miss us yet? Do you miss us yet? Did we have an effect on your life being gone for as long as we have? Well, if so, we apologize. As if not, we need to do a better job in doing the things that we do. But hey, what's going on, everybody? So Rev, Play B, season 3.
3, baby.
Do I get a round of applause for that?
Oh, let me find it.
Oh, my goodness. We should be, yeah. So, anyways, so this we didn't have a guest for today, and not that necessarily we needed one or wanted one. Well, we wanted one.
Yeah, we
didn't need one. But you know, we're gonna start our season off with just you and I, just talking about some of the things that are going on right now in the world in general, and also where we're heading with this podcast. But first off, I want to give props to you for looking like John Madden over there.
You know, I like it. You know, I posted on the TAP Facebook page. If you're not signed up to that, y'all need to go check that out. We put a lot of interesting stuff in there. I just wanted to try this out. I thought it'd be a good addition. I think it'd kind of bring a new dynamic for the show. But so we're gonna give this a test drive, and if we decide to like it, or if we decide to like
it, do we have to decide to like it, or
yeah,
do we just like it or not like it? How about we do one of those two first of all?
If we end up liking it, then we're gonna get another one.
If we decide
possibly
to like it,
yeah. If we decide to like it, but you know, before we go on, you know what I gotta do, right?
Go ahead.
I gotta do this. Because it's still a thing. It's still out there and it's still going on. It's 209-214-9472. That's our call-in line.
Yeah, and on that, why don't you play? So we have the call-in line.
Yeah.
And, we never get a call from actually people. It's always
that mean to call us,
telemarketers. Yeah. It's usually about extended warranties. Or man. we get voicemails about, your frequent or your recent stay at a Ramada Inn.
And I'm like, what?
But we did get actually, I believe, a real person. But we haven't had I think we did try to call them back, but nothing came of it.
Yeah, I can't remember.
No, I think we did. Did we try?
But yeah, but he didn't answer.
So, but play the.
But anyway, this is funny.
Hey, I want you guys to stop calling here. You call me, and I pick up, I answer, and you guys hang up. Stop it.
Wait.
Bye.
So this mystery man that we don't know who he is, we
apologize.
We don't. Well, the thing is though, and full disclosure, this is not like a number that's connected to a particular like cellular provider. So there could be somebody that called from this number, or maybe he just hit the wrong redial. I don't know. But it was just really interesting. So that is our number to call. So if there is anybody out there that wants to talk with us,
share your story or whatever experience,
we will have a extensive list of guests this season that we're planning on bringing on.
Yeah, I'm excited, man.
Yeah, so we're excited about that. First guest we have coming on was going to be Scott. Well, we had him on towards the beginning of first season 1, so he hasn't even been down here in our new studio where we actually have a little bit more elbow room than we had.
Yeah, we were kind of scrunched up right here. And I like talking with Scott. He's a very down to earth man, very intellectual, and he's very well spoken. But even apart from that, just a great individual all around. Period. I think, in my opinion, and he's an awesome dude and easy to get along with, easy to talk to, and that's why I enjoyed conversating with him. And I think a lot of people on the show that listened to that one kind of liked it because he's a pastor, but he keeps it simple. You know what I mean?
Keeps it simple. Yeah. So we're looking forward because and this is one of the topics that I want to kind of brush on a little bit today. Though we're going to have a little bit more in depth conversation next week with Scott about it. But it's the whole Russia-Ukraine situation, and the reason why I say that is because Scott has play-by-play, day-by-day information live from the ground there in Ukraine and Kherson and other bordering areas along the Russian-Ukraine border of people that he knows personally. Because a few years ago, Scott actually took a missions trip out to Ukraine and actually visited some of these areas and actually went to the front lines where they were. So the interesting thing is about Russia, and Scott will explain all this next week. But one of the interesting things about the situation for years now, especially going back from 2014 till now, is that Ukraine has actively been fighting a battle, not against Russia, but against two states in Ukraine that are like, it would be like two of our states. Like, it would be like it would be like
a Civil
New
War
Mexico.
type
It would
thing?
be like New Mexico and Arizona fighting against Washington D.C. That are proxied militaries backed by Mexico. So that's basically like what you have over there. I know there's more nuance and there's a little bit more to it than that, but there's the two sections that border Russia are basically. They wanted to become independent, separate from Ukraine, but kind of joined with Russia. So Russia's been secretly funding and supporting those two areas because they're friendly to Russia. So there's been this active conflict going on between those two forces on the border. So Scott had a chance to go down there because there's some missionary work and some chaplains that go down there, for reaching and teaching and preaching and all that. So he had a chance to go and visit with the soldiers literally on the front lines there.
Dang, that's pretty cool.
During that conflict, and he still has close friends that he's constantly communicating with literally on a day-by-day, hour-to-hour basis of what's going on there in Ukraine. So it's going to be really interesting to sit and actually talk to him. We talk all the time about it here and there. He gives updates to us at the church and also to just whoever is around because it's on his heart. And not just that, because he had a chance. If for those of you in the Central Valley area, he was interviewed by KCRA. So
I seen that.
So he was on KCR talking a little bit about it, and then he was also I think Central Valley News. So he was able to sit and talk. There's some things that I learned during listening to those conversations, and mainly that. His ties to Ukraine are not just because he visited there and met people there, but actually his family lineage actually comes from that part of the world and actually from Ukraine. So it's going to be really interesting to sit and talk about that. But in general, what we're seeing right now is it's so easy to turn this into a political thing because there's all this conflict now because for years. Here's where we shift the gears. Hold on, buckle your seatbelt, because this whole conflict began under Biden, and it was kind of like if Putin or if Trump was a puppet of Putin, why did he wait till now to do what he did?
Yeah,
and those are some of the things that we talk about, and I don't have these conversations a lot with a lot of people because I think it's not as fruitful as I think they can be, mainly because. It's not helping anybody to just sit and point fingers. Well, because that happens a lot. Oh, maybe if Trump were here, then this wouldn't have happened. Or it's Biden's weak leadership or whatever the case would be. The reality is that's probably the case. But we're living in a world now where, like, I kind of low key want to talk to because we were alive in the 80s. But do you remember like what was that Russian threat? The Cold War type stuff you're saying? So the Berlin Wall fell in 89? Okay, so I was 8 years old. So I don't have a vivid memory about what happened during the Cold War, which went from the 60s all the way till the 90s, right?
Right.
So it's like I have no recollection of what that was like living in that time period with that that kind of like threat of complete annihilation, right? Because that's basically what it was. Two nuclear powers. So what do you think now?
Well, when I think back to my childhood in the 80s, what really pops into my head is...
I know what you're going to say.
What?
Red Dawn?
I love that movie. The first one. We don't speak of the remake here.
Oh, no.
No, but, thinking back, it was weird because the times did feel different compared to now.
Yeah.
No, but not only that, it's just because things were so different. You typically only had one phone in the house, and it was like in the kitchen with this long old cord, and then your TV only had like 14 stations or something. And then, so, it was crazy. But the one thing that I tell my son about when we're cruising around, I go, man, you never knew the struggle of having to use a payphone. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
And you don't see them anymore. And it's like, damn.
Wait a minute.
Payphones were pretty cool, man. And then there was a lot of ways to cheat the system, get free phone calls. I had a little hack that we would do to get free phone calls.
Well, no, it's not that simple. It's like when you call somebody collect, it's like you got to say,
oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm ready to pick me up.
Hey, I'm going to be at my friend's house. Okay, I'll be over later.
It's like you have a collect call. I'm ready. Come pick me up.
And then it was even worse when you had a pager, because it kind of sucked because no one wants to walk around with jingling change in their pocket all the time. So your pager would go off. It was pretty much useless. because you'd either wait to go to someone's house to use their phone, your home phone. You know, I didn't use a payphone, so we used a lot of codes. You know, I know my mom would, if my mom texts me 911, that means get your ass home now, boy. You know what I mean? Like, so there was all these little things. Remember, like 143 and all these other little codes. But anyway, so I digress. But the atmosphere, it seemed like we were better off. You know, gas prices were like, what, $1 something, if that.
Yep.
Then the general, you know when you go into a room and people just finish arguing or something and you walk in the room, you could feel that energy.
Yeah.
I guess that's what it's called, energy, right? The energy of the time just felt happier.
Atmosphere.
Yeah, it just felt happier. Everybody was, you know, on the upswing of everything. You know, the economy is bouncing back. Everything's good. You know, so that's what I remember about the 80s and early 90s. And then, you know, start getting back into the recession times again. But, you know.
Yeah, but that came later.
Yeah, but compare that to now, it's like scary, bro. It's scary.
It is scary, but it's just like, so how many of us would think, like, okay, so when we thought about the Cold War, like, we all thought that was like ancient history, that it would never become a part of reality ever again. So here we now are standing on the precipice. I don't know if I'm saying that word right. The precipice.
The precipice. Now you got me saying it all weird.
But now we're living in a constant threat of who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because in our reality, it's just like, it was funny because somebody had pointed out Joe Biden had basically said this is what we're not going to consider. This is going to be our red line.
Right.
Do not cross this red line. And then Russia crossed it, and I was like, okay, crap. Well, we got nothing else to threaten them with. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting as time goes on. And like I said, I think that there's a lot more to this to the thing. Okay, so let's go back to this. So interestingly, when it came to Biden, you got to understand. Like recently, here's what's going on, and this is the most frustrating thing. And this is why I don't know why so many people get in mainstream media get away with the things that they do.
Yeah.
For instance, when you think about all the things they said about Trump during the 4 years. Oh, he's a Russian asset. Oh, they colluded with Russia in elections. Right. Oh, him and Putin are best friends, and all the stuff. And you're just like, okay. As somebody that was willing to hear, okay, if you have the goods, give me the goods.
Right.
Let me see what you have, and let me listen to the evidence you have. Let me hear your side of the story, and then so I could make my own personal judgment. Right. So they said all this stuff, nothing came of it. Trump wasn't impeached, even though because of what happened with Russia.
Right.
He was impeached, I think, because after the Russian, oh my goodness, it's like now I'm having flashbacks, but oh my goodness, but he wasn't impeached because of anything with the Russia. He finally got impeached because they couldn't find anything that would stick. Again, like he's a crime boss or something. They couldn't find anything that would stick. So the only thing that they had was a quid pro quo with President Zelensky, because he wanted dirt on Joe Biden before the election, so he was colluding with the Ukrainians, or so to speak.
Oh God.
So then during the election cycle in 2020, the whole Hunter Biden laptop scandal happened.
Right.
And then every major news outlet, even to an extent Fox News, except for maybe 2 or 3 of their mainline anchors.
They're fair and balanced.
I said, it's Russian disinformation. It's, we can't trust it. But yet, the Steele dossier, everything that came out against Trump was treated as matter of fact.
Yeah, right.
But the laptop, which Hunter Biden left himself,
what an idiot,
at a computer store and never picked it up.
What a moron. And
when the owner of the computer store tried to return it to the government, they wouldn't take it either. So all he did, I forgot who he called it. I forgot who he got Rudy Giuliani.
Dang.
Hey, I have this laptop. There's a lot of incriminating stuff on here. And you had other people coming out saying, oh, yeah, they're doing dirty deals in Ukraine.
But you know what trips me out, though?
No, well, lastly, this is it. Because the news media just came out this week and said that, okay, actually, the laptop was real.
Oh, God.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and in my mind, that's part of the reason why this Russia thing is happening under Biden. Because Biden Biden has probably dirt on Joe Biden because of the shady
Wait, you said
dealings.
Biden has dirt on Joe Biden?
No. Did I say that? No, I mean Putin. Sorry. Putin has...
Biden got...
Biden don't even know where he's at.
You pulled a Joe Biden right now. You're Joe Biden. Wait, I am Joe Biden?
I know. Biden called himself the first gentleman or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, anyways, we didn't even know where he is at the time. It's starting to be contagious, I guess. No, but
it's embarrassing. It's an embarrassment to America as a nation, as a country, as a people, as an identity. You know, to me, it's embarrassing, bro. Like, I've never been embarrassed to call, and I'm still not embarrassed to call myself an American. I'm embarrassed to say Joe Biden's our president. And I don't mean that in any kind of way. I'm just saying they could have had anybody else would have been way better. You know what I mean?
We should do a show, and it would be a really fruitful show to do about our progression, especially in when the 2024 election, presidential elections are coming, to kind of show the progression. Because I think you were probably, I don't know if you've, no, you didn't vote for Donald Trump in 2016 either. Neither of us voted for Donald Trump in 2016. But there was a progression because I didn't like Trump. I wasn't on board with Trump, but there was a progression that I started noticing, and it was kind of like I don't know what it is, but the Democrats' strategy backfired on me. Mm-hmm. Because at first I was listening to it. I was listening to mainstream media. Donald Trump is this. He's a racist. And I believed it. You know, they would play the clips and they're all cut them out. I was like, oh my God, wow. And then you actually start looking into it for yourself. And you're like, wait a minute.
Well, that's the problem. A lot of people don't do that. You know, they're just told what to believe and they go with it. Oh, okay. You know, if, enough people are saying it, so it must be true. And that's very dangerous for anybody to live that way, you know? I mean, to just willy-nilly believe everything. Remember growing up, they said just because your friend said, or, you know, just because everybody jumps off a bridge. Remember those sayings? Yeah. What happened to that? Did people forget about that? You know what I mean?
That is a good point.
You know what I mean? It's like, yo, hello? What happened? Is it really the fluoride in the water? Like, is this stuff really happening?
They're turning the frogs gay.
That's why Budweiser don't have the Budweiser frogs anymore. Yeah, but you know, it's one of them deals. You know, it's usually when I see any media, whether it be right, left, meta, whatever you choose to consume. For me personally, whenever I see them talking about one specific thing, like this Ukrainian thing, you know, oh man, the Russians, I don't believe all that. You know,
and it's okay. So you say the Ukrainian thing. Mm-hmm. When you look at this Ukrainian situation, it seems to have united both parties.
No, but what I'm saying is what they're saying about how they're pushing back Russia and they're taking Russia and all this drama. You see, when the media starts doing that, that's when I'm like, whoa, there's red flags start going up, bells, alarms start going off. This has got to be a lie. Because how many times have we seen that? When the media starts pushing one thing, oh, this, that, the other, you know, like how we were mentioning with Trump, or you got all these other things, and when they specifically, oh, look how, you know, whatever the case is, whatever narrative they choose to spin at that particular time. But for instance, in this case, they're talking about how good they're military, and then you got all these people, civilians going in to volunteer and everything. Which is cool, whatever, I get it. And I'm not talking bad about Ukraine or whatever. I don't have a dog in the fight in that sense. But speaking specifically about media, because, you know, in Russia, they're not even allowed to call this a war. Them, they're not in war. You know what I mean? And, you know, and they don't even want their soldiers posting videos or pictures or anything like that. They actually confiscate their camera, their phones before they get sent out. I don't know if you knew that. Because they don't want to spin this like, oh, we're at war, you know, trying to take back. To them, it's just like, well, we're fighting because we got pushed too far, I guess is how they're spinning it. But you see how the media, on the other hand, is vilifying Russia so much that I'm thinking, whoa, are they hiding something here? You know what I mean? Because every time they've done that, we'd always uncover later that there was this big cover-up for something else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So when I hear, oh, you know, the Ukrainians, man, they're shooting down tanks left and right and all.
Well,
I'm like, well, wait a minute. If you start looking at a lot of that footage, it's the same old footage, just different angles or, you know, a different perspective from a different person. But then that just makes me wonder, like, well, what are they lying about? What's the lie here? You know what I mean?
Well, and it's interesting that you say that, because that was a big issue a few years ago when Syria when I think it was ABC or MSNBC, one of the two were showing footage of, this is a video of Assad bombing or lighting his people on, all that stuff. And it turned out not even to be from Syria, actually from Idaho or something like that, of a shooting range where they were.
Yeah.
And it was just like.
Or remember the kids in cages? They showed the family at the gate, and that was like a totally different thing. Remember?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it happens. Well, even right now, like there's videos and stories coming out of Ukraine that are propaganda straight from Ukraine. I mean, we got to be bluntly honest, and I understand why Ukraine would send out propaganda, because war is like football. 80% mental, 40% physical, or vice versa. Well, no, it's the opposite. Okay. 80, No, 80% physical, 40% mental, right? So if you could demoralize your opponent and get them mentally out of the fight, so to speak, then they're done. There's nothing else that could be done. And so use propaganda as a helpful tool. But the problem with propaganda is when it affects the West, then that could be a tool to bring us into another conflict, whether or not we should even be in it. That's the main topic right now. This is what's splitting a lot of Americans, for the most part. I would say this. It's not splitting the establishment. Both Democrats and Republican, I think, are ready to go to war.
Yeah.
The only active people I see pushing back are your more independent and libertarian types who are like, that we should not be involved. It's not our country.
Well, first, let's fix what's going on in our country before we can help anybody else.
Okay,
to me, that just makes sense. That's what Trump was saying. Remember, it's like, let's make
America. And I get,
but it makes sense though if you think about it. Like, duh.
Okay, but Trump. Okay, no, you're right. No, you're right about that. So, but Trump was a wild card. You have to remember that.
Yeah.
So. Trump,
they wouldn't be pulling this shit if he was.
Well, because they didn't know what he was going to do.
Yeah, he's a gangster.
Well, you got to remember a lot of
Trump's like, just say our name 3 times.
Well, okay, so Trump has a lot of faults, and I think it's wrong for people to idolize him and see him as the answer to every one of America's problems. So this is what I mean when I say he's more right than not.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you've seen them. We got to pull this up. Oh, too bad I don't have it queued up. I should have thought about that. But when Trump was running for re-election in 2020, he basically said that if Joe Biden gets elected, that you're going to see $7 gallon of gas.
Profit. He's a prophet, Trump.
So he's not the answer to every single problem we have in America, and actually he creates a lot more. He
You sound like me now.
He creates more. Then he creates. I don't say more problems, but he creates other problems.
Right.
Just like anybody, no president's gonna come in and fix everything. No. And that's no matter of fact. But it's just kind of like we talked about before. We're not voting for a pope. We're not voting for a savior. We're voting for
a leader.
We're voting for somebody that's, in all reality, out of selfishness, yes, going to put America's priorities first at the expense of other nations.
Well, that's
what a leader does.
It's kind of like the man of the house. When there's a man of the house, it's his responsibility to put him and his family before all others. To make sure he secures your family's household first. And then you can help out others. You know what I mean? That's essentially what I think of when someone says, hey, man, I'm the man of the house. Okay, well, you even put your own stuff aside for your family to a certain degree, So I think, if you even think of it in that context, a president should do that. Sure, why not,
Definitely. So on that note, we're going to call it a show for episode 1 in season 3. So we just want to thank you for watching and listening in and, hearing a little bit. But this is just the beginning. Like I said, next week we're going to have a special guest. Scott's going to sit down and join us and talk about a little bit more in detail about what's going on in Ukraine, literally, because we have eyes on the ground and we have actual of testimonies.
Yeah, that's
of what
pretty
are
cool.
literally happening
that's
in
pretty cool.
in the strategic cities that are being taken over, annihilated, just bombed without discretion there in Ukraine by the Russian military. So, and also the ideology behind everything, the false pretenses why Russia went. So there's a lot more information that we're going to be able to get next week. So we just hope you guys were looking forward to that. It's going to be a really real interesting show. We really hope. And also we're gonna sit down and talk about other things, mainly vaccination and COVID.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's going to be because
there's a new variant now, B2A or something.
Anyways, Delta. You got to watch the South Park COVID special.
Oh great.
Kind of predicts all this stuff.
And pull the Simpsons.
Oh, yeah. So anyways, we'd like to thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to give us a call if you guys have anything you want to add or just tell us how stupid we are. And also just check us out. We're no longer on YouTube.
Yeah.
No longer. We have old shows on YouTube, but we're going to be primarily now. Everything's going to be on Rumble. Find us on Rumble. Rumble.com.
That's the new thing. We're trying to get ahead of the game.
Project.
We're trying to get ahead of the game. I think it's going to be cool. I'm tired of YouTube.
Yeah, we're still on Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. We're still not doing TikTok. Still not doing TikTok. So
Although a lot of people told me we should start doing it.
No, we're not doing it. Anyways, this has been your boy, Surrender Servant, and I've been riding along with my co-host, Play B, and this has been The Servant's Hood. You have been tagged.